Welcome to Your Real Estate Life. It's your day in real estate radio. I'm Michael Harris, mortgage loan originator 233410 with United Mortgage Corporation of America, NMLS 3189. It's November 1st, 2025. We're turning the clocks back this weekend, but today we're moving you forward. We're moving you forward with your money. We're breaking down the newest headlines. Now, this past week, we're turning back the time, as I said, and we're moving forward. But we had the Federal Reserve. They cut rates for the second time this year, and they announced the end of quantitative tightening. Now, on the surface, oh my gosh, rates are going down. Hey, this is great. Mortgage rates and the percentages, everything's improving. Oh my gosh, well, not quite, because we're a little bit in a fog and we need to go a little slower. So all of a sudden, the percentages or thoughts to gain an additional rate cut on December 10th just went lower. Now it's not as confident. So, with that said, we're not pricing it in as much as we were pricing it in before. We'll talk about that today. Pick up the phone, give us a call. 888-543-3980. That's 888-543-3980. Visit our website at yourrealestatelife.com. That's yourrealestatelife.com. Go to Your Real Estate Life. You can do that, but go to our YouTube channel at Your Real Estate Life. You can get started, unitedforloans.com. That's unitedforloans.com. We are for loans. We're not just for the interest that you're paying. We don't want you paying on that. We want to eliminate that. Get rid of that interest volume. We're all for doing that. So let's get started. Let's break it down. The Federal Reserve cut a quarter. Second cut this year. They lowered the benchmark Fed funds rate. That's the overnight lending rate, the discount rate, 3.75 to 4%. Now, that reduction in the balance sheet, that will start in December. So we're going to find them doing quantitative tightening. Now, why they cut? We're seeing slowing job gains, rising unemployment, but still historically low. We're seeing inflation has moved up slightly and remains somewhat elevated. We're seeing a desire to avoid over tightening as the labor markets cool. Now, all this comes during the government shutdown that's delaying reports. Now, inside, the Fed, some are looking at deeper cuts. Others are wanting to prefer to wait and see. Now, we had Governor Stephen Miran. He wanted a half a point, not a quarter, but he wanted a half. And Kansas City Fed President Jeffrey Schmidt, he wanted no cut at all. So a quarter up and a quarter down, and we're on two sides of the fence there. So we have some disparagement and disparaging whatever sides of this, and we got volatility. Now, by definition, a hawkish Fed means the Federal Reserve is focused on fighting inflation, even if that means slowing the economy. When the Fed takes a hawkish stance, it's signaling that interest rates may stay higher for longer or even rise further. To keep the prices under control, that's what they need to do. This often leads to higher borrowing costs, pressure on bonds and mortgage rates, as mortgage and markets anticipate tighter financial conditions ahead. So it's kind of, it's they turn on the water and put it on hot and then, oh God, dial it back. But we're kind of doing it with not as good information. The water pressure isn't coming out as good as we wanted, and we need to see what's going on. Now, of the 12 voting members, 10 agreed to the cut. As I said, one wanted a half and one wanted none. There was dissension between them. And at the press conference, Chairman Powell said in the committee's discussion at the meeting, there were strongly different views about how to proceed in December. A further reduction in policy rate at the December meeting is not a foregone conclusion. Far from that. That sent shockwaves. We went from the 80s down to the 50s to the 60s to 50s and back and forth to what the percentages are that the Fed will move. Now, we saw three reactions. We saw spikes, moves, ups, downs, interest rates. They ended up higher on the week on the mortgage side. Now that QT, quantitative item that's ending on December 1st, we're going to see that starting. And what does that mean? Quantitative tightening, the process of shrinking its balance sheet by allowing Treasury and mortgage-backed securities to mature without replacing them. In plain terms, the Fed will stop pulling liquidity out of the system. This marks a notable shift in policy, suggesting officials believe financial conditions have tightened enough and that allowing QT could risk slowing the economy too much. A lot to digest here. But the bottom line is that's what we look to do when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your real estate life. When you're thinking about refinancing, purchasing, or making a move financially in the mortgage market, we're watching the economic news as it comes out, the trends in which it is. We saw the 10-year Treasury go back up to 410, a key level. We're going to see if that's a ceiling or support, but we're back to those levels. We were down to 397. We were hanging at 4. Now we're back up to 410. So we've lost a little bit on our pricing, but we're still near 12-month lows. Now, again, I do see another move. The question now is if it's December or if it's January. So it's a question when that comes. Prior, we thought December, January, and March. Now, all of a sudden, the ratios of what times and when these are happening have changed. I mean, at the time of the show, we were at 59.3% chance of December 10th move now. January, 20.6 for another quarter. But if we put the odds back, I mean, we're at a high percentage that we're going to get one of those. Now we're seeing if we can get both and the timing of both. But if we go all the way out to March for a third move, it's like 7.1%. So all of a sudden, it's not as clear, and we're not pricing in the future as we had started to do previously. Now, the mortgage market is always best prior to a Fed move and when the market starts pricing in the next move. But right now, 60% range. We're not fully priced in. So there is room to price additional improvements. Of course, we have December, January, March. Now the Fed meets every 6 weeks. So as economic news isn't coming out, that's making a difference too, because we don't have all the best information. So when that information finally comes out, it might be old and dated, and we're still looking for the new. Now, the government shutdown, it's been impacting the business slightly. We're finding the 4506C, the verification of your income, when we're doing an application is somewhat delayed. We're verifying it through other methods and other means and working with our investors. We have FHA, USDA, underwriting is backlogged. We got other things going on, but I got to go. We got to go to a break. I'm Mike Harris. We'll have more after the slight break. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Life. It's your day in real estate radio. I'm Mike Harris, President and CEO of United Mortgage Corporation of America, UnitedForLoans.com. That's UnitedForLoans.com. We are for loans. We're just not for the interest that you're paying. Check us out on our YouTube channel at Your Real Estate Life. Like us there, follow us there, and love to see you take part. We're happy to have you join us today as what method you're here. Whether you're visiting for a short time or you're here for the long haul, that's fantastic. If you want to, you can check us out on our website at yourrealestatelife.com. Catch our past programs, the audio, and then go for visual back over at YouTube as well. We are broadcasting live on the show right now, and I'd love to talk to you further. 888-543-3980. That's 888-543-3980. So much happening, so many things to react to. We're near, in the last 2 months of the year, we're making decisions, getting equity lines done. We're getting some investment deals done for individuals for tax purposes. We're getting some purchases done, some offers being made. We're making decisions together with the right money at the right time for the right reason. And as we talked about, the Fed, 59.3% now, December 10th, 20.6 chance in January 26th. March 10th is 7.1 or percent now. So the ratios have gone down a bit on the percentages, and we're kind of watching that carefully as new news comes out. But I mentioned with the Fed, the government shutdown, we're looking at the IRS 4506 income verifications, FHA, USDA loans backlogged somewhat or not happening in some cases. VA loans were open, but appraisal slows in some areas and regions, so we're watching that. Right now, flood certifications have some of the disruptions that we're seeing, verifications of employment, some of the national areas there. So we're working around it, and we're getting our loans closed. So as long as we prepare and understand, we got private lenders, title firms, investors, everyone remains active. We're still closing. But some of the market reaction has been a little bit of a roller coaster as the news comes in and doesn't come in, and we see Treasury swings. As I mentioned, 410, we were at 397, so we're watching that. We're going to watch the Fed, their participation change, as we talked about, watching mortgage-backed securities be volatile as a result. We have intraday pricing. Usually on any given day, we have one, maybe sometimes two price changes, and they're not necessarily to rate, but they're to fee. So 10 basis points, I mean, you're seeing a little bit of move here and there, back and forth. So when those happen, it means a few extra bucks up or down. So we're watching those carefully, understanding the term and your closing dates, looking at when to lock, when not to lock, and when to make that right decision. And that's a lot of conversation and understanding to know what we're looking to do. But we're watching various consumers react. Some are saying, well, I'm going to wait. Well, waiting for what? Waiting for what? What lost opportunity? What perhaps you're not gaining because you may pay more later? Uh, we want to have that discussion. We want to understand. We have clients right now who are buying and then selling, and that's fine. We're making sure they qualify for both ends of that loan. We want to make sure also that if they get proceeds from a sale and they're looking to invest then in their home, their new home, and rates are not lower or the same, that we're going to do what is called a recasting. So we'll lower the balance and lower the payment. So we can talk about that as well. But with government gridlock, the Fed movement and opportunities and various items occurring, we take all that consideration and we make the moves that are right to make based on your real estate life. So we're looking at these things very carefully. But as we do that, I want you to give us a call at 888-543-3980. Nationwide, we're helping individuals eliminate debt and creating wealth and lowering their interest footprint. We're doing that nationwide. So if you're watching us throughout the United States, we can help you with that process. If you're a professional, you're another mortgage loan originator, you're a realtor, any state, you're a financial planner, insurance professional, divorce professional, helping to divide debt accordingly and value the debt, we want to help you with that process. Let me show you how we can help you with your clientele and you go forward and succeed. 888-543-3980. Register for our Tuesday night webinar, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Change that for your own time zone. And you can register, send me an email, interest@aheadformoney.com, and I'll get you out that invite. With that invite, you're going to be able to go to a 1-hour webinar, get some great information, understanding. If you like what you see, get back with me. If you don't, Yeah, let me know why. I really want to know. But also, I'm going to send you out some information to digest a little bit prior. And then you can schedule a time directly with me to go over your particular situation. Or maybe it's that of what you want to do and help your clients succeed. So we're talking to you personally, but we're also talking to you professionally. So where you fall on that spectrum, love to chat with you. 888-543-3980. That's 888-543-3980. Now, the Money Max account, it's a perfect financial GPS. What that means, when you drive in your car and you want to get to a destination, you put it on your phone or in your car and it tells you when to turn, when to go, and gets you there the most efficient way possible. Why not with your finances? You tell me. I remember this time, but when was the last time you reached in your glove compartment and pulled out a roadmap? Okay, it's been a while. So why do that with your finances? Why are you pulling out the spreadsheets, the all the items that were from times and times ago that aren't perfect, that takes more time and energy? Now you're very proud of that spreadsheet, and I understand. But if you can do it a lot more efficiently and pay off all your debt in a third or half the time without changing your lifestyle, maybe as little as 5 to 7 years, and do it perfect, wow, it's something to consider. We've seen people shave 50, 100, 200, multiple properties, $1 million off their interest footprint. I would love to talk, sit down with you, show you on screen your debt-free date. Now, to get involved to that, eventually we're going to need all your ins and all your outs, your monthly, your quarterly, your semi-annual, your annual items. Those items that you pay every single month, as I said, semi, quarterly, annual, to know what your discretionary monthly money is. With that discretionary monthly money, we're then able to look at a perfect financial plan where it's not putting you down to no money at all. You got a comfortable budget, what allows you to sleep better at night, and then savings, accumulation. But it's also moving money accordingly at the right time. Now, we're not going to touch your money. We're not going to access your accounts. You're doing that. You're setting up your ACHs, your payments, and all your fun stuff, but it's all the dates appropriate. Now, something that I'll let you into, when you gain your monthly statement, it's not your due date, it's your statement date that really, truly matters. When you're getting a home loan and you want to maximize your credit score, you want to pay down the debt prior to the statement date, not the due date. Because the statement date is the date it gets reported to the bureaus. So if you wanted to get it down to a set percentage of your line limit, and again, people use the idea of 90 down to 70, down to 50, down to 30. I always like to say about 18%. I'm being kind of corrected now and telling me it's closer to 10% to maximize the algorithm. So when you look at what you owe as to what your limits are, that's important. And what was so many people got hit in 2008, people or lenders and creditors, and they were lowering the line limits. And just because you have a line and you don't use the card, all of a sudden they're going to lower the limit and your available usage goes down. So that's why it's important to keep things moving and active and doing stuff with them. And we can talk about that as well. But certain creditors weren't even publishing your limit. So whatever you owed was 100%. And that was hurting people's credit score until that got fixed. So it's credit utilization and not trying to maximize your usage. So if you have 5 credit cards and you're using one of them at 100%, your score is not going to be as good if you use all of them at 1,000 of the 5,000 limit. So it's utilizing them responsibly and setting it up accordingly to maximize score. And we're trying to get an extra 1 point, 2 points, 5 points, 10 points on a home loan to help you get to another position to save money on pricing. It makes a big difference. We've been able to have someone prior to their next statement date, not the due date, the statement date, a few days prior, send in a set amount of money. When it gets reported, then we're updating credit scores and we're getting over the hump when we're trying to get our pricing. So we were able to do that even during the process. But it's understanding where we are to how much we have to accomplish and do. So there's ways that we can help you save money. Now, some individuals with early credit, we have the ability to get added onto an account or add someone on your account as an authorized user. They also then take on that role of that history. But under the same notion, you don't want to be an authorized user on an account that has credit problems or late payments are about to be made. That doesn't help you. On the same direction, we have situations where we have to take a spouse or an individual off a loan, not necessarily a credit card, but let's say mortgage. The only reason or way to get them off the loan in most cases is to refinance off the debt. And that means the remaining individual qualify. So those items really make a difference in planning. Now, we've had some individuals, 55, 60, 62 years of age, depending on the state, where we're able to do a reverse mortgage based on the equity position. And that also has made sense. So we want to evaluate what it is you're trying to accomplish, what it is that we're doing, so we can make those decisions together to what's best going forward. So whether you're getting started, you're in the midst, in the middle, you're moving up, moving down, maybe you're getting everyone back, whatever that case is, we want to understand where you are on your phase of your real estate life. Some are accumulating more doors, more property. We're doing DSCR loans, debt service coverage ratio loans. All of these things matter. And it matters to do your proper planning. I mean, in our next segment, we have Lori joining us, Lori McShane. We talk about making decisions and the cost of not making these decisions. And it's so very important. So she'll be joining us and talking to us more about that. But it's easy to talk about it. But again, it's not my real estate life, it's your real estate life. But it's understanding what's there so you can make these decisions and better decisions as a result. So looking at the calendar, Monday, we have pending home sales. We have construction spending. Now, pending home sales, leading indicator, buyers' demand, a surprise uptick could indicate stabilization amid higher rates. So we'll take a look. Now, construction spending reveals future supply. More construction could help ease price pressure in spring markets. So we're already looking at that. Tuesday, we have our JOLTS number, job opening and labor turnover. Fewer openings indicate cooler labor market. Good for bonds, good for rates. Strong JOLTS number, however, signals continued wage pressure and may lead to upward rate adjustments. So these things matter. The percentages move based upon these items that come out. Wednesday, we have the ADP private payrolls, ISM manufacturing. We look at ADP, private job growth, expected about 150 to 175,000. A strong print suggests inflation persistence. A weak one supports lower yields. ISM manufacturing, reading below 50, shows contraction, often leading to a bond rally and improved mortgage pricing. So when these items come out in the morning, I'm watching these things to understand where we are taking advantage of pricing and moves to save our clients and potentially you money. On Thursday, as always, we have our jobless claims, and we also have unit labor costs. So jobless claims, rising claims suggest cooling labor markets and rate relief. Unit labor costs, declining costs, lowering inflation risk, signaling the Fed may pause future hikes. Now, we're not necessarily seeing hikes right now, but we're seeing sideways. So we're trying to get back to the percentages causing the next Fed move down. So that's where we're looking to get priced in. Now, Fridays, we normally have, of course, the non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate. We're hopefully looking to get that announced, but we're looking at market main event, 160,000 jobs, employment about 3.8, a hot report that's let's say greater than 200,000, strengthens inflation fears and pushes rates up and lowers the percentage of a decrease. A soft report less than 140,000 could boost bond prices and bring rate improvement and that potential pricing of the December 10th meeting. So, even one strong or weak report can shift the market an eighth to a quarter in the rate any given day, or fees any given day. It could be either or both or a combination. So these are really, really important. So we want to consider strategy depending on where you are in your transaction, whether it's a short-term lock, whether you're floating that loan till close, you're locking it in long-term because you're comfortable with that decision. These things matter because on a $600,000 loan, a 0.25% in rate, I mean, it could be $110 a month, $39,000 over 30 years. I mean, the numbers add up. I mean, it's your funds and we want to help protect them. So this is where we come into play. We want to be that person on your team. And I talk about it. You want that offensive line, your team protecting you against the defense. Because one defensive person comes in, you got a mess. You're a scrambling quarterback. So the goal is to make sure you're protected. Something that's going on here in California, we're still looking at the zombie seconds in the lawsuits filed against the state of California over the targeting known as zombie seconds, as I said. When you got your old second mortgages or HELOCs, the borrowers that were closed, forgiven, or long, there's a long thing there with AB 130. So it might be worth looking into and talking to your realtor and understanding that before lending decisions are made. But you're certifying under perjury that both they and every prior servicer acted properly for years. And that's what makes it difficult for the new lender because you're acting on behalf of the old lender. So it just gets really, really difficult at best to do anything. So what we're looking at then, it interferes with existing contracts, violates property rights, perhaps creates unequal treatment between loan types, reduces access maybe to new second mortgages and HELOCs because the risk becomes too high. So all of these things are considered and the investors start looking at it, and then that changes some of the things that you have available. Now we're still working through and closing on home equity lines of credit without a major hiccup, which is great. We're allowing individuals and gaining individuals the freedom to utilize a home equity line of credit when they need it in the future. Hopefully, if you need it now, you can't not get it because you can't qualify. So the goal is get it when you don't, so you have it when you need. And we're gaining equity lines of credit even to the higher combined loan to values for some. I love going 80% or better, but if we need to, we can go up to 90 in other areas, and we can talk about pricing. But there's so many choices, so many options. As you can see, I can go on forever, but I gotta go. I hear music. I'm Mike Harris. We'll have more after the break. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Life. It's your day in real estate radio. I'm Michael Harris, President and CEO of United Mortgage Corporation of America, mortgage loan originator 233410, United Mortgage Corporation of America, NMLS 3189. Visit our company website, and that's at unitedforloans.com. That's unitedforloans.com. You can go to our show site at yourrealestatelife.com. You can also stream us and on YouTube at Your Real Estate Life. So many places and so many ways to tune in. You can go to our site. You can actually also go to the radio sites. You can go to Fox Sports Ventura 1590 AM, 94.7 FM, KVTA, stream at kvta.com. Our Sunday audience on KEarth 101, streaming at kearth101.com. So many different ways. You can go audio from our website. So many different ways to tune in and catch it if you miss any part of the program. But you can have your very own program. Give us a call, 888-543-3980. That's 888-543-3980. Now, in this segment, we have once a month, we usually have a guest that comes in, and we're going to have Lori McShane joining us. She's going to be talking to us about real estate. She's with Equity Union. She's going to address a little bit about things that are going on in the real estate end and decisions that you need to make. I want you to listen very carefully because Lori has some great things to talk about. Lori?
So grateful to be here today on Real Estate Life. As we head into the holiday season, many homeowners tell me that they're going to wait until after the holidays to start thinking about selling their home. And I completely understand. This time of year gets busy. But if you're what I call a legacy seller, someone who's owned their home for 20 years or more, waiting can actually work against you. Here's why. The preparation phase takes time. Legacy homes often have layers of memories and sometimes layers of updates that need attention before going to market. Starting now gives you the breathing room to make thoughtful decisions without pressure, whether that means decluttering, updating key spaces, or simply preparing emotionally to let go of the home that has been part of your story for decades. And since the holidays bring family together, it can actually be the perfect time to start those conversations. Have your loved ones walk through the home with you. Make a list of what items means the most or who might want what, and talk about the memories attached to each space. It can turn what feels like a difficult process into something healing and perhaps even joyful. And if you're navigating a life transition like divorce, this season, oh man, can feel heavier than ever. And that's why I created my Untying the Knot column with local news Pasadena to help people that are going through a divorce understand their options, especially when the family home is involved. The holidays can amplify emotions, and the last thing anyone needs is confusion about what comes next. So, whether you're a legacy homeowner preparing for your next chapter, or navigating a major life change, my message is simple. Start the conversation early. Knowledge brings peace of mind, and small steps today can make a world of difference by the new year. If you have questions or just need a little bit of a guidance, call me directly at 626-807-5621. I'd be honored to help. And if I don't have the answer, I have a trusted team of professionals who will. You can also read my Untying the Knot column on localnewspasadena.com. And I'm here to help you make clear, confident decisions, whatever your story may be.
Thank you so much, Lori, for that bright information. I mean, really, I run into it on my side in the lending end. Well, I went need to wait. And I've been addressing that. Sometimes waiting can cost you more money, but sometimes it's the clarity that you need. And it's having that professional team to help bring that clarity and answer those questions. Thank you again, Lori, for such timely information as we head to the holiday season. I talk about interest rate, I talk about demand, I talk about the different loans and different products that are out there for everyone's needs. You know, if you have a home right now, you like your interest rate, you can afford your rate, but you still have other debt and other items that you want to attack. There's a few ways you can go. Of course, it's getting the right information for the right reason and doing that accordingly. But it's getting in the game. And getting in the game is what we need to do. And, from a lending point of view, people say, oh, refinance and consolidate. And okay, we're attacking, but we're not necessarily knowing if we're winning the battle. We're basically doing something that's creating an activity. I want to make sure that activity warrants and gains the right result. So if someone's asking you, hey, let's go get a home equity line of credit. Well, what's the reasoning? Yes, it's there. Yes, I can use it in the future if I needed it. But is there a reason also that we can use it to create wealth, gain leverage, or pay off other more expensive debt, pay interest, simple interest versus amortized interest? What is our reasoning and usage of that item? It's not just the process, it's the process warranting a result and a reason. And I want to assess those items with you. Now, we talked about the Money Max account, and of course, we can look at your monthly, quarterly, semi annual, and annual items. We can look at your discretionary, how much money you have in reserves, which allows you to sleep at night. We can look at utilizing those discretionary monies to pay down debt, to create wealth, and do other things that you want to do with, making sure you're working effectively in that space without changing your lifestyle. In fact, improving your lifestyle, under most cases, improving credit scores and other aspects, but it's doing it in the right sequence. So it's getting the right foundation so you can build above. Because many people build and then they don't have the right foundation and they kind of have a cave in. And we want to avoid that. So I think my first step that I would want to recommend to you is assessing where you are today. Now, I could send you a one-page budget item so we can kind of review. We can have you come on Tuesday evening so you get an idea of what I'm discussing. And then we can have a chat. Understand how it applies to you, where you are, and the goals that you have going forward to understand what we can do for your process. Whether you're looking to gain items by accumulate a property, buy your first home, buy more property, save for college for children, or a retirement for yourself, or oh my gosh, I did nothing and I need to do something now. We've had individuals who are in their 60s become debt free by age 70 rather than their current plan of age 90. So it's putting things in perspective based upon not bleeding you dry, but doing things effectively in the right manner and not you bleeding your money out to somebody else. That's what I want to go over and discuss with you. 888-543-3980. That's 888-543-3980. Go to yourrealestatelife.com. Go to the bottom of the page and you can register. You can register for the webinar, or you can email me directly, interest@aheadformoney.com, and I'm going to send you a reply directly myself. I want to include some links and some items. So if you register, yeah, I'll have your information. But I would like to make sure I have name, number, and email minimum. So this way I can get you out that timely information. So very important to make sure you make an informed decision, but not a complicated one. Because a lot of you don't like numbers. I do. You don't. I want to make sure we guide you through that process so you can achieve more. I'm Mike Harris, President and CEO of United Mortgage Corporation of America. We'll have more after the break.
Get pre-approved for your home purchase. Your landlord loves you. You're making their mortgage payment. Own for less than you pay for rent. Call 888-5433-980.
What if I told you everything you understood to be true about money is not?
If there was a program to eliminate most of your interest in your life and pay off all your debts, personal or business, even mortgages, in as little as one third to one half the normal time without refinancing and without changing your lifestyle, would you want to learn more? Call 888-543-3980 and request your information today, or email at interest@aheadformoney.com. That's interest@aheadformoney.com. Money, 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 must be funny in a rich man's world.
Welcome back to Your Real Estate Life. It's your day in real estate radio. Hey, this is our last segment. We've had a busy program. We talked a lot about what's going on in the markets. We talked about economic news. We talked about interest rates. We talked about the Fed. I'm looking at where interest rates are. We're up a little bit on the week, nothing major, but it wasn't necessarily down. A lot of people call in and say, hey, I heard rates went down. Well, the Fed went down, but the probability of the next move went down, causing interest rates not to be better as yet. So as I evaluate these items and look at them carefully, and I kind of answer questions of individuals, and we had one that typed in, does the Fed rate cut lower mortgage rates immediately? And as I had just said, not directly. The mortgage rates follow the bond market, not the Fed funds rate. But the Fed's direction influences sentiment and volatility going forward and price momentum. So as I said, with the government shutdown and the fog that we're in, it's influencing not to be of best information. So it means going a little slower. And going a little slower doesn't mean quarter, as I have been saying. Now it's quarter, maybe a quarter or a quarter at the next meeting, but we're trying to get better idea. So as that idea or thought comes back in, we're going to gain back a little bit of what we just lost, and then look for momentum to gain a little bit more. So we have some prognosticators talking about, oh, we're not going to be lower than 6.25 next year. Some are saying 5.99. Some are saying could be down even 5.6. So if we're looking at that range 5.6 to 6.25, it is a tighter range. It's not 2s, 3s, and 4s, but 5.6 might be there, but it might not be no points. And points are what you pay as a percentage of your loan to pay prepaid interest to buy your rate lower. So you have to make that decision. How many points or what you want to spend to pay that ahead of time. So as we watch the market carefully, those who are sitting at 6.5 or higher may have an opportunity to improve, free up discretionary to retire debt. Those are some of the individuals I'd like to speak with. Whether you have a VA, FHA, conventional loan, maybe you have a loan that had a prepay as a debt service coverage ratio or non-qualified mortgage, maybe it's time to reevaluate to see where you are and see what's perhaps can be done. We have some individuals that are doing the equity lines versus a loan, because a loan is amortized, a line is simple interest. We can go over the benefits of that. But we're evaluating where people are, doing your loan review, understanding your statement, understanding what is going where and why. I talk about property taxes that are due today, due this weekend, late December 10th. So understanding that your impound account is fully funded correctly and the payment is going to be made prior to its late date, or you're scheduling your tax payment accordingly, understanding you have that in place. Now, the government shutdown, I've talked about various delays and various items that we're navigating around, less economic news. So these continue to fuel, not creativity, but awareness as we navigate through the process. Private money and agency channels are still able to get funded. We have some of those verification delays and some other items that we navigate around. I talk about making sure you keep your year-end pay stubs that break down your overtime and bonus, and other things. So we keep an eye on that so we can verify consistency and continuation past and present with the pay stubs. Your W-2 has a number on it, but it doesn't necessarily break that down. So that's where you can actually help. But it's being aware of all these items. And, when I talk about the MoneyMax account and various things that it can do, I, I want to answer that question because someone says, well, what are you talking about? But it has the ability to be that perfect financial GPS and answer all the tough questions that you have. It tells you day to day based upon all your stuff being inputted correctly, which we'll do together. It allows the right information in to get the right answers going out. And if you have wrong information, you're going to get wrong answers coming back. So the goal is to have the right stuff and the right answers for those reasons. But we're showing individuals taking 30 years down to 10 to 12 years and paying off all their debt, not just the mortgage. I mean, it's not touching your money. It's not accessing your accounts. It's not a loan product. This is not a refinance. This is not some item you're going to get some kind of IRS debt item for forgiveness. No, this is interest cancellation by paying debt sooner by knocking down principal. You still owe your principal, but it's eliminating interest volume and your interest footprint. I emphasize education and accountability. There's no gimmicks, just financial efficiency. Let's find out more. Let's register. Email me interest@aheadformoney.com and you can get started. I can get you out information, no obligations. And, when I look at credit cards, car loans, mortgage payments, everything being eliminated in a most efficient fashion, people leverage in order to move ahead. And I understand the idea of not having debt, but sometimes debt is necessary to propel forward. It's like that rubber band. You pull back on a rubber band, you pull, and then you let go, and it flings so much further forward. You want to make sure that it flings forward and doesn't snap back. I want to avoid that snap back by showing you how you can make it fling forward. And exponentially, it flings forward so much farther than you pull back. That's what I like to show you how that works. Now, I was looking at some other questions that were coming in, a little bit more about taxes due. Again, they're late December 10th. You don't want to have a late penalty and interest that accrues. I mentioned about confirming that through escrow and your online county portals, making sure you have that. If you haven't gotten a statement, you are responsible for your debt and that item. So make sure you are aware. Making sure all those things are happening. Again, I'm looking at it. It's interesting with the time change. You're gaining an hour. Okay, yeah, you're sleeping. I know, but you gained an hour. What are you going to do with it? Okay, well, a lot of times, what's really the best thing, and maybe make a note of it, is it's a great time to replace your smoke detector batteries, check your security lights. God forbid, adjust your thermostat, the change of season. Go through those items. And for some individuals, you have all the electric blinds and shutters and things, and it's time to recharge those items and think about that during the scheduling. But look at that timing. I mean, you've got to be looking at scheduling in the professional sense. When you have open houses, you're changing maybe open house scheduling, appraisal times. Those things change as well, just because of daylight and dark. Something that just came to mind is, when you buy a home, you see it in one said light. You always want to make sure you see it morning, noon, and night, and during the week and on weekends. You want to see the neighborhood also, and you want to understand what that is. So it's important to have a professional working on your team, and that's your local realtor. They do more than what I do. I do lending. And now I have a California broker's license, but I don't list, I don't sell. Trust me, I go over all the documentation and I evaluate all of it, and I get it edited, addendumized, and everything else as necessary in order to get the loans approved. But you have a professional who's doing the proper disclosures at the right time for the right reason and protecting you against the defense, somebody else who wants to come in and sack the quarterback. We don't want that to happen. We want to move down the field and score. So the economic shutdown, the economic calendar, the lending environment, the money max account, and property taxes. Those are our main items of today. Now, all these items and conversations can continue after the program. These items can continue through our website, yourrealestatelife.com. It can go to our company site, unitedforloans.com. You can watch on YouTube at Your Real Estate Life. You can catch audio on both of our websites. We have the audio version that will be downloaded and uploaded shortly after the program. Those of you listening right now on radio, thank you for joining us. Those of you who are streaming online, you can be doing that on our Saturday program at 9 a.m. on KBTA or on our Sunday program on KRF 101. There's many different ways to get information, but I stress to you, gain the information so you can make a decision. And it's not making a decision and trying to figure out if it was the right one. It's getting enough facts and information to make the best move for you and your family. You're spending money on one of the largest items in your lifetime. It's making a decision about your home and your finances. You owe it to yourself to have a team of professionals giving you proper information and advice so you can make the right move. Ultimately, it's your decision. It's nobody else's but yours. And my goal is to keep money on your side of the ledger. This is your money, not mine. I'm looking to cut corners, save money, and not compromise your family security and your peace of mind. 888-543-3980. If you have the opportunity, before you go about your day, write down the number, 888-543-3980. That number allows you to gain access. It gains access to myself and my team to get you answers you need to make the right moves. Whether you're looking at the Money Max account, you could also email to us, as mentioned. You can go to interest or email interest@aheadformoney.com, and I'll get you access to our Tuesday night webinar. And that will give you some background and some information along with an email, some additional stuff to watch and get familiar with. You can schedule a time directly with me. I'm never too busy to work or speak with you. Don't feel that you got information and now you're going to go figure out, who do I use? I love to be your source. I love to be your guide. I love to help you with your transaction. Whether you have a realtor already, I love to meet or work with them. I love to show what we can do and make sure you have a complete loan process and your real estate process is a smooth one. It can happen, but it's understanding these items before they happen. And that starts with you. Give us a call, 888-543-3980. That's 888-543-3980. I was looking at some data that came across my desk, and as I'm talking to you now, I'm pulling it out. It's not committed to memory, as most of the stuff I do is, but I'm looking at the weekly snapshot of the real estate market, and the one that comes to me in the front here is Los Angeles County. Ending the month of October, the median list price was $1,295,000. Average on the market was 107 days. 107 days on the market. Now, we've seen some price increases, but we've seen some price decreases. And a lot of those price decreases are happening because people aren't listing it at the right price to begin with. They're still trying to extend the prices higher. So it might be sideways versus extending. So when they decrease, they're coming back to where they should be, not where they hope to have them. So you want to be watching that. Median rent's about $4,300. I'm looking at now Ventura County, $1,269,000 on the median list price, 106 days on the market. Price increase 1%, price decreases 40%, which means people are still hoping for higher. They're hoping and hoping for higher. It's not so much as values going down to kingdom come, it's because people are still listing a lot higher, hoping for stretching the market. If I look at Santa Barbara, we saw median home price list $2.5 million. $2.5 million out there in Santa Barbara. We're looking at average days on the market, 124. Same idea about price increase, price decrease. We saw inventory also, 569 homes in Santa Barbara, Ventura, 971. And in LA, a whopping 9,521. So large area. San Bernardino, 5,653 in inventory, median price 530,000. Same ratios really on decrease and increase, 127 days on the market. I'm looking at Riverside, 665 list, 6,436 on inventory, same ratio, increase, decrease, and 102 days on the market. We see Orange County, only 97 days on the market, inventory 2,535, median price $1,899,000. Same idea on increase and decrease. A couple more left. San Diego, 97 days on the market, $1,225,000. Inventory, 3,032. And if you want to know your area, let me know. But your realtor in your market is your best source. These are statistics. Your neighborhood, your home, your market changes with you. You are an individual. You're not to be lumped in statistics. Yeah, you might be a part of it eventually, but your individual situation is different. And with that said, everyone will choose perhaps a slightly different loan. Whether you're doing a 30-year fixed or a shorter term or a variable or a buy down, you pay points, you pay no points, you get seller's credit. All this is different. The property you're buying, the property you're selling, the condition of the property, whether there's health and safety related issues, permit issues, townhomes, condos, association issues, reserve issues, lawsuit issues. All these things are important. And that's where your professionals come in who have that experience navigating these items to help eliminate, protect you, and sometimes it's walking away. But it's having you understand the reason why that's needed. Recently, we had an individual who was really liking this townhome project, really wanted to get into this condo. But as we peeled the onion back, we were looking at a lot of new fees that were coming on board, coming in the next chapter of the year, where there'll be special assessments. And it was going to change the ability for that person to afford or qualify. So important to have your professional on your team. 888-543-3980. That's 888-543-3980. I'm Mike Harris. Give us a call. 888-543-3980. Again, until next week, turn back the clocks. What kind of loan do you have?
Corporation of America, UnitedForLoans.com will continue to take your calls after the program. Call now to start your home loan process at 888-5433-90.
Got stumbled on what I was going to say, but I'm back. Make sure you set the clocks back, confirm your property taxes, make sure you're going to be getting those paid. They're due. They're late December 10th. Make sure you check with your professionals before you make financial decisions. I like to be one of them. Give us a call, 888-543-3980. Enjoy the weekend. Until next week, what kind of loan do you have?